With the new TaylorMade 2023 drivers on the way, that only means one thing. The older ones are getting cheaper. Because there's nothing that sounds duller, deeper. TaylorMade's 2023 lineup has been circulating the internet recently. Just like I've done with the other brands such as Callaway and Ping, the TaylorMade lineup, especially the older models, threw a few spanners in the work. Typically the older ones are the cheapest, followed by the newer version, but through this lineup, that's just not the case. And I'd love to hear your thoughts on exactly why that is. I guess we should probably start at the top, the Stealth driver itself. Even though I haven't got it with me today, I've tried it, I've tested it, and to be honest, I'm just impressed TaylorMade was able to make a driver out of something completely different to everyone else, and it still performed very much at the top end of the market. And as you can see, the prices of the second-hand market when it comes to the Stealth driver, there's a big following. These are all sales within the last couple of days. I have to say, when it comes to fan bases, well, there's nothing stronger than TaylorMade's one. And that will be the theme throughout this video, especially when it comes to the older models of the TaylorMade drivers, as there's a cult following, there is a need, there is a demand, there is a want for TaylorMade products more than any other product I see on the market. Which is great news if you were to buy a second-hand TaylorMade product after it's lost its initial retail value, as you could probably buy it, play with it, look after it, and in a year's time, we'll probably sell it for exactly the same price. So as you saw me hit the M6 off the first tee there, and obviously going to hit it again now, the build, sound, looks, appeal, TaylorMade do it well. I'm not going to lie. Yes, they're a premium driver, and yes, they have some of the biggest tour players in the world, but there's no wonder they are very popular with the consumer. And obviously that again shows in the second-hand market. £100, £90, all the way up to £180, depending on condition, which did surprise me and is a lot higher on average price compared to any other brand out there with a similar age driver. Oh, that is absolutely gone. Absolutely smoked. If you can find one of these for around £100, just buy it. Which brings me on to the best value driver out of this lineup, and arguably the best looking in terms of aesthetics, which is obviously subject to opinion. The TaylorMade original sim driver. Personally, I love the color scheme. I love the matte finish on the top with the carbon crown. Don't get me wrong, I don't think you'll see any kind of performance difference between this and the M6, which I showed you earlier. But because it's newer, you're probably going to be able to find one in better condition. And looking at the pricing, and it is tough, don't get me wrong, to find the original sim driver, especially if you were to search on eBay, as Sim 2 sporadically does pop up. But I think the shafts that you are able to get with the sim range, with the Ventus Blue, as well as the overall combination of colour and aesthetics, I think is a bargain. £110, £120, £130 for this driver, and obviously at the top end more like 200. But if you're patient and you're looking around, let's be honest, all golf equipment in the second-hand market definitely dries up, and I have no idea why, and try and find yourself one of these bad boys opposed to the M6. Not because of performance, but more of a shallow reason that I think it just looks, well, better. Oh, that is slightly right. Nah, let's hit it again. Yeah, that's more like it. Tiny bit more of a duller sound with the sim to the M6. I wouldn't say one sounds better than the other. Which then brings me on to this bad boy. And there's a few links between this and what I've seen on Golf WRX. Obviously Sim 2 following the sim range, and now we have the Stealth 2 following the Stealth range. But especially the color scheme, you can see the way the blue is a lot more vibrant to the original sim. It almost pops a tiny bit more, and that's exactly what I see with the Stealth 2. You almost have a bit more of a matte red on the original Stealth, and then almost this fluorescent red, potentially almost a cherry color on the Stealth 2. And I have to say, even though I think the sim looks great, the paint job on the Sim 2 does stand out more. Which, to be honest, now I think about it, is very clever how you can make something look that much newer. But personally, I would wait on the Sim 2. I wouldn't upgrade to the Sim 2 right yet, mainly because where's a hole so I can stick this T in? Because the price of them is holding very well. And just as I said at the start of this video, you buy a TaylorMade driver, even brand new, it holds its price well. Ping drivers hold their price well. And that's a big thing when it comes to buying equipment, knowing there's a big market of people looking for it, because sometimes you will get club fitted, sometimes you will get a brand new driver, and in 3 months, 6 months, it just isn't working for you for whatever reason. The Stealth comfortably still at 280, 300 pounds in relatively good condition on the second-hand market. And if you did buy it at 449, well, you've only really lost 150 pounds, which is still a lot of money, don't get me wrong, but it can be worse. And a few of my previous videos has definitely stated just that. And that's just the point, whether it's the Stealth, the Sim 2, the Sim, the M6, just finding that right head and shaft that works for you is the key. And normally the answer is a club fit, but it doesn't always have to be. There's reasons why your old 10-year-old, 12-year-old, 15-year-old fairway driver just happens to work for your swing. It's got the right torque, the right flex, the right loft, and it has that perfect combination for your club head speed and swing path. Which means the best value driver over the recent years, second-hand market-wise, is the TaylorMade Sim. And you can go older, don't get me wrong, and get a very good TaylorMade driver, whether it's the M2 or the M4, whatever it is. The older you go, you still do run a risk of, well, it just breaking because, well, it's old. And in my personal opinion, it's one of the best looking drivers that they've brought out in an incredibly long time. Now, not too much information on the Stealth 2 driver. Obviously, the full release is more than likely going to be early January. But I have to say, I think the Stealth 2 does look better. I like it a bit more vibrant. Not to mention the Stealth 2, especially with the sliding weight on, let's say, the Plus version, just looks a bit more meaner. Just a little bit more chunkier. And I guess it's good news for a lot of you guys that wanted to upgrade to the carbon face. You wanted the super dull sound of the Stealth, because there's nothing that sounds duller, deeper than the Stealth. And that's because the amount of carbon that is surrounding the thing. And if you're looking to pick up a Stealth driver as a bargain, well, I imagine it's going to be a very similar price to the Sim 2 that I have in the bag here. You might just have to wait 6 months or so. Guys, if you like this video, you might want to check out my Callaway version of the Paradigm driver that they're bringing out, and the best low spin long ball machine that you can get for great value.